What's up, everybody? Welcome to the CanesInSight Daily podcast powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Happy Tuesday. You know what that means? On Tuesday, we have the legendary Ahmmon Richards on to break down the FSU game, talk about where the team is heading into the bye week. A lot to get into. I know you guys love that. First, talk about some folks that there are no bye weeks. That's Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. If you or someone you care about has been injured in an accident, you could be entitled significant compensation. Dial 1-800-747-FREE. Dial 1-800-747-3733. Take back control of your life with Anajar and Levine. And before Pete hops in, one of the reasons why Pete is able to hit the pitch injury-free is because he takes care of his injuries with first-class treatment. If you consider yourself an athlete or just an active guy, you know how hard it is to sit on the injured list with pain or injury. Maybe you even had to hack your own rehab. So don't trust anybody with your recovery. Trust the experts to make sure that you are 100%. And that is the University of Miami Sports Medicine Institute, whether it's elite competition with the team, everyday movement. The University of University of Miami Sports Medicine Institute is the trusted choice for those who demand excellence. Set your appointment today, uhealthsports.com. All right, so let's hop them in here. First, Pete, Bucket Hat, how we doing?
Good morning, D. How are we doing?
What's the occasion, man? That we're blessed with the fashion.
No, man. I just woke up and said I want to wear my Fiorentina bucket hat, man. That's what it came down to. It's one of those days, man. So, just had to bring it out.
Yeah, trust your instincts. And then here we go. The man himself, the legendary Ahmmon Richards, with the Dodgers cap, victorious yesterday. Are you a Dodgers fan, or is that just the fashion right there?
Good fashion. I like the hat style, but it is green. Snap.
Look at the hands right there. Look at the hands, man. That was me. That mic would be on the floor.
They still work a little bit. Eat with my hands.
All right, so big weekend, obviously, huge win. The wide receiving group, man. We talked about it. It was funny because before the season, it was always like, and we'll get to Jojo. I'm sure you've seen this, is like, he's the click machine. We say one thing about Jojo. We're not anything controversial. We just say his name and say, hey, we're looking forward to him, working on the bye week. And it's like the views go crazy because everybody's focused on him. It was kind of that way before the season. But Malachi Tony, CJ Daniels, to me, have turned out to be one of the best receiving cores in the country. So I wanted to just jump in right away off the top with your thoughts on the passing game in this game, and of course, those two receivers. So let's just start overall, man. What are your thoughts as you watch the passing game against FSU?
Man, I want to start by saying it may have sounded like an excuse at the time, but man, we came on here. We said, like, look, we're not going to be throwing the ball around in the downpour, right? Slick ball, wet field, wet conditions. It just doesn't make sense, even from youth league up, right? So I think we finally got an opportunity to see what the passing game would look like with a dry field, dry atmosphere. And you can tell, like, Carson Beck had like a different type of rip on his throws. The accuracy was there all night. I mean, the passing game was very impressive. And, obviously Dawson touched on it in his, in the presser on Monday. Took what the defense gave them, right? I mean, all night they were loading the box, and you had to know that the shot play was coming. They were running the cover 4 look, which the safeties are in the run fits first. And, perfect play call off of an interception, the momentum. You take a shot usually in those first plays, and boy, did we. Malachi Tony showed up big. CJ Daniels. I mean, let's talk about CJ Daniels on the outside, stretching the field. Like, I know there's questions about, is it speed? Can he really get open? Things of that nature. But I mean, you just seen really good route running and hands all night from him. So that was impressive. Even the screenplay, like to take a quick little, a pass behind the LOS and to take it all the way, get in the end zone. I mean, I think we have kind of answered those questions where people were wondering, like, what are we going to do if teams force us to throw the ball? Can Carson Beck be accurate? Does he get jittery in the pocket? Things of that nature. I didn't see him flinch one bit in his first road game this season that people were kind of hyping up. So overall, the passing game looked great. And I still feel like there's still more in there. That's the crazy part.
Yeah, you mentioned CJ Daniels. I want to get on that topic because we knew he had the size, we knew he had the experience, hard worker, the hands. I think that was all. Felt pretty good about all that. The question was LSU. You watch some of that tape, and he wasn't separating like he did at Liberty. He wasn't. At least didn't seem like he was as sudden as it was at Liberty. So you say, all right, well, is that because he's jumping up in competition, or is that because his foot's acting up and he needed surgery and there was a health issue? I don't know what you're seeing, but to me, he looks twitchy as can be. And it seems to me that must have been the foot because he looks very much like the guy we saw at Liberty and not what we saw at LSU.
Yeah, that makes sense. Just watching him, like how he runs his routes, it's very like quick, sudden. Like I said, he's not the fastest guy in the field, but his release is at the line, his footwork, like that step or two is what's giving him that separation. So it's good to see. I do think obviously, him playing injured and obviously lower body as a receiver, like that's like your bread and butter, especially when it comes to, lateral movement, things of that nature. So it's good to see him healthy. And I mean, he looks confident, and I do believe that they're going to continue to develop that like deep threat relationship. We saw it early on in the season. It kind of dimmed off a little bit, like first game, Notre Dame, one of the passes was down the field. Then you got Bethune-Cookman, he had the post, and then, the USF game was, kind of okay, whatever, good game, one good catch. And then now I think you're starting to see like that chemistry starting to build where Carson Beck ripped it. And I know people are breaking it down. He didn't even look at CJ Daniels the whole time. He literally already knew the look, where he's going to be. And it was just like that trust factor. Like he put it in a spot where he knew Daniels was going to get to. And it was a perfect throw and catch.
Yeah, Ahmmon, I think over the summer, we might have talked about it on one of these, on one of the first shows you came on with us, that like, and I know D and I definitely talked about it with CJ Daniels, man. A lot of the videos of him coming out in the late summer there, working with the receiver coach that he was working with, and seeing, you're talking about him moving in tight spaces. That's what I saw on those clips. He looked really healthy there. That got me very excited for the season here. Question: what did you see on that Keelin Marian reverse there, where he had 5 linemen out in front of him? I mean, what could he have done there to? I'm
gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. The easy answer to that is pretty much, obviously he should have like slowed down or waited. I guess my counter argument is that the last time I saw a player like slow down was Chris Johnson, and he got tackled from behind. Or he kind of slowed himself up. So I'm not mad that he like was essentially trying to hit it. He had one guy to beat. He just didn't beat the guy. But also, I do believe if you look at the play, I just don't believe there's supposed to be 5 offensive linemen down the field. I feel like FSU like was so like they're so hyper focused on getting up the field and being disruptive in a run game that they quite literally all of them overran the play. So all the linemen were just out there, and they're just kind of looking like there's too many of us out here. There's supposed to be usually, I think, like 2 or 3 out there, like trying to get to the next level. And there's supposed to be like, I think like 1 or 2 like back blocking, but all of them were just out there. So I think it was a little like, what are we doing? Like, I think FSU overplayed the run, or I should say that they were too aggressive and went way too up the field. And there was really like,
But I don't know, man. The Tony White, their defensive coordinator, said they knew that everything they were doing, so that couldn't have been, man. They knew that they did exactly what they wanted to on that play.
Man, I think I don't even know who Tony White is. He's probably a good DC. I have no idea, honestly, but it seems like the focus was we're gonna stop the run. We're gonna be the team to go in and shut Miami's run game down. And kind of what Dawson alluded to was like, all right, that's fine, but like he said, you gotta have some guys that can cover, because you have too many dudes in the box. That's a lot of one-on-one matchups on the edge, and it's like I like our guys over your guys. That's just what it comes down to.
So Ahmmon, not to cut you off here, but I want to pull this up for everyone. I'm pulling up Coach Cristobal's Twitter page right now, and Coach Cristobal retweeted the CanesInSight tweet from yesterday.
Yeah,
talking about Shannon Dawson there, mentioning what you said at the end there, that they couldn't stop Miami's receivers. So personally, I love this version of Mario here, and it just goes to show you there's a reason why he looks into the camera and he says the state champs thing. There's a reason why he pounds the podium last year at the press conference, because like he sees everything out there. He knows it will get recirculated. He knows it will live on social media. And I think he's in a position where he can stick his chest out a little bit now about some of this stuff. So
now, for sure. I mean, we spend all season, like, well, I should say off season, where rivals were trolling, right? We dropped those last 2 games. People making fun of us and all that type of stuff. So I think, and I know for a fact the staff's going to hear it, the players hear it. So obviously every year you get a chance to get revenge or get back, right? And we always want to be all the in-state schools. So it's just one of those internal bragging rights that a coach is never going to really go on like a media thing and like say what he really wants to say. But it's understood, like, we want to be Florida, Florida State, USF, whoever's in the state of Florida. We want to beat them, take it to them, and you get a whole nother year or 12 months, I should say, of bragging rights, because that's just what it is. Now, is that our only goal for the season? Obviously not, but you still got to somewhat enjoy this moment for a chance, because it's very hard to beat all 3 or 4 teams in the state of Florida back-to-back years.
And for those who don't know what we just showed, so Tony White, the defensive coordinator for FSU, basically kind of said, like, talk about the flea flicker, like, hey, when you was coming, we had 3 safeties back there. Like, Ahmmon said, shot plays after those situations are pretty common. So he's like, when you was a shot play, we had our safeties there. And obviously the coaching staff didn't like it. So Shannon Dawson made a comment in that video about how, if you can probably play the video, why don't you go pull up the video so you can play it, talking about how, well, the problem is, like you mentioned, they're trying to stop the run because they know they have to, or else we'll just get mauled. They'll get mauled because they can't match up. So not only are they putting numbers there, but the safeties are kind of laser focused on that. And Dawson said, look, and you'll hear, I'll let him say it. Let Shannon Dawson say it himself.
I don't look at it in the sense of we were, lacking in the run game. That's just what they chose to take away. Good. Like, you choose to take that away, fine. Your corners better be able to cover. And theirs didn't. But I don't look at it in the sense of
right there, taking a little response. And then Cristobal, so we reposted it, and Cristobal retweeted that. So obviously the message is being sent, but it's like, Ahmmon, with this team, I think FSU, Matt, when you look at I heard their fans say, oh, we stopped, just like how Dawson's responding to, oh, we stopped your running game. And your trenches aren't what they said they were, or whatever. I've heard that. I've seen that narrative. It's like, look, if our trenches weren't what you thought they were, why did you have so many guys in the box? It's like that game was done before it even started, right? Just with the matchups.
Yeah, man. That pride is a hell of a thing, man. Like, it's just one of those things, man, like where a man just never really wants to admit when another guy just got him. Like, end of the day, Dawson was out there playing chess. He was playing checkers. They're sitting in cover 4 all game long. And like, anyone that knows, just basics football, cover 4, you got 2 extra players really in the run fit. Both safeties are playing the run first, pass second. So you knew it was a matter of time before we ran a post, go, double move, something, to attack that coverage. So I just think we're waiting for the right moment to strike, and talk about the perfect time after interception. We returned it to like the 50. I mean, it was the perfect play at the perfect time. So there's no way the Florida State coach knew what we were doing, because he would have then keyed his safeties, or he would probably ran like a cover 3 look or something like that, and not actually ran cover 4 and first down after a shot play. I mean, you must have, like, he must have known, but he must have probably took us, on Hard Rock or something. There's no way you sit in cover 4 on first down after an interception turnover. I mean, the shot play is coming. It's coming.
Gio Kane asking me how many pressures and sacks are they going to Beck? No sacks and 7 pressures and 30 dropbacks, from what I just looked up.
So Ahmmon,
it's funny, the Google AI overview. I just Googled FSU pressures on Carson Beck. They give you the whole rundown, and then the last thing says focus on the run. FSU's defensive focus was on stopping Miami's run game, which may have allowed Beck more time in the pocket.
There we go. But Ahmmon, you hear the term balanced, and this is something that I see just, being on this chat and talking to people, is like, you hear a lot of times people talk about balanced offense. And the initial thing people think is that means you run it 50 times, you pass it 50 times, or you do it 50% of the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But really, balanced offense is you take away the run and we're just going to throw it over the top of you. And if you try to play the passing game, put those safeties back there, play cover 2, we're just going to hand off to Mark Fletcher and eat you alive. So, like, what does it mean to you to be a balanced team? And is this Miami team a balanced team?
Yeah, for one, yeah, we are a balanced team. I mean, it's about as balanced as it can get, really. The run game is there. Obviously, the passing game is showing itself now, like on a more, I guess, consistent basis versus like a good defense, I would say. People, I think, get upset when you see a game and it's like, I guess, boring, right? Where we're running the ball strong all game. Passing game isn't really, hitting like it was this last game. But then you're going to have a game like we just saw where Beck is 24-27, 241 yards, 4 touchdowns, and the running game is under 100 yards. That's kind of like, to me, that's balance. Like, where game in, like, you may get a different style of play, right? We may play Louisville and you may see us back to the running, like leaning on the run, getting 5-6 yards a carry. Then you may see us play a team like, I don't know, Virginia Tech, right? And we're airing it out again. So I think that's balance, where each game we can choose which direction we want to play based on how the defensive coordinator is trying to like play us, what he's trying to take away. Like Dawson said, they want to take away the run. Okay, we're going to have some shot plays in there. And if you still want to continue playing the run, like we're going to get the win at the end of the day. That's the goal. So balance is probably by definition with this team right now. And I really do enjoy it. I think last year, I think the numbers say we're balanced, but it just felt like we're more pass heavy at times, like 3rd and 4, we're throwing the ball, 3rd and 6, we're throwing the ball. I feel like with this offense, it can be 3rd and 4, we're dead run it and pick up the first down, maybe 10, 15 yards. So I think this is a more balanced team, in my opinion. Both sides of the ball, offense, defense, it's about as good as it can get as far as that term balance.
I'll say this too, as Drex has this comment. He says, I still think teams will duplicate a lot of what FSU tried to do. Beck should eat down the stretch. My thing is this: how many Daryl Jacksons are left on this schedule for Miami? Because Daryl Jackson was occupying multiple blockers a lot of the night. So that's the other part of it, is that we can get on FSU's personnel as D Money has taken the last 2 weeks to do. But still up front, I expect that they have some better talent than what Miami is really going to face the rest of the way here.
Yeah, I think those 2 D tackles are pretty solid. Like, as far as like size and just space eating, like, it's hard to move those guys like completely out the way. But I think we did a good job. But those guys are definitely going to play in the NFL for sure. So it's just one of those things where I don't really see, like you say, Louisville or Virginia Tech or any of those kind of other ACC teams like having like that type of size, like 6'6", whatever he is, 330 or whatever it is, sitting in the nose, right?
Kevin Dennis saying, "What's up, Mon? Saw your brother on Friday. Didn't know he coached for West Boca. They destroyed us. I don't know if that's your brother or your bro, but whoever it is, West Boca's cooking, man. They got a good program over there."
Yeah, my little brother, little Mark Richards, he's coaching at West Boca. He coaches the running back, special teams. So he's working his way through the whole coaching realm, thing. So shout out to West Boca. I know we got a good commit over there.
Yeah, he's a running back. Yeah, he's a running back, man. So
there you go.
So he must work with him closely. That's nice.
Yeah, your brother was a good player, man. I remember watching his highlights that year. We missed on everybody, man. That one hurt. But we weren't doing much at that time anyway, so it's not like he missed too much out here. But Pete, on your point, I think it was a good one. I want to kind of just get back to it, which is, as far as stopping the run and playing to stop the run, the rest of the schedule, we've got the ACC coming up. You're right. There's no more Daryl Jacksons on the schedule, but that's probably even more reason for them to throw numbers at the running game, because right. I mean, FSU couldn't even play us straight up with him. I mean, they had to focus on the running game, plus having a little bit better personnel. These other teams, just look at the schedule. I don't know of any team on the schedule until you get to the ACC championship, at least, and maybe just until the playoffs, can stop our run without throwing numbers at it. Because
Mm-mm.
I don't see anybody matching up.
No, I don't think if you really look at the teams we played, like Notre Dame had a pretty good box, like loaded box. Florida, they were going too high, but obviously they're fitting the run. So yeah, to your point, I don't think you can really just line up like numbers on numbers and just like stop the run, right? I don't think you're going to see 4 down linemen, 2 linebackers, and then everyone else is in coverage and you're just stopping the run. There's no way. Like I don't see it. You're going to have the box loaded. You're going to have safeties and run support. That's only how you can really slow us down. And honestly, I don't think Florida State really stopped us. I just think the easy money was just sitting there on the table at times where it's like, all right, we're going to just throw the ball 50 yards right now for this bomb or take another shot for 50 yards. So it's just there. But I do believe if we just continued, running, if we really wanted to, I still think we could have got some movement, some positive yards at it. But that's not how you play football, right? You got to take what the defense gives you and try to win the game.
So, just last thing on this topic.
Mm-hmm.
When you know going in, just from a film standpoint, you don't know for sure, but you expect that is going to be the way that they're going to play you. That hey, they're going to play the run. They're going to be flying forward, and you're a receiver. Is that something that is in the back of your mind? Like, hey, I'm gonna get a look I like here. I'm ready to go, or is it just kind of like, hey, every same game as any other game, got to execute what they tell me?
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, there's some games where based on how the defense is, you're going to get more opportunities down the field, or there's some teams who play like a lot of zone coverage, right? So you're probably going to get a lot of things under. You got to make some stuff happen a little bit. But yeah, I would say with Florida State and just in this particular instance, like going into that game, I already know the receivers were like licking their chops. They knew those deep plays were going to be there because of how they were trying to stop the run. And then obviously after the first few drives, I think the first drive we went not 3-and-out, we got a first down, but eventually punted. Then we came back and drove the field. And I think part of that was just like recognizing like, oh, they're really gonna be in this box like this legitimately. Okay, cool. We're gonna get to this look. We're gonna run this play on that. Next time they run that cover 4 look, CJ, be ready. We're gonna run that post, get open, win. So I think that type of stuff, the receivers probably going into the week were definitely like licking their chops. And then as the game kind of progressed and you really saw that they weren't switching up their defense, they were literally just loading the box, just all out stopping the run. Like, all right, cool. Let's get to it then. The receivers are going to have a day. And that's just what it was. And it could have been worse, to be honest. They didn't take away Malachi's other touchdown. That Beck would have had 300 yards and 5 touchdowns. I mean,
so listen, we're talking.
By the way, that was nasty on the one that got called back.
Disgusting.
Yeah. Ahmmon, look, we said at the early start of the show we'd get into JoJo. We're talking about receivers now, but let's work our way to it. Like, can you just explain to people why a game like this and why some of these other games they played early in the season, the rotations are extra tight, and why you're not just going to see even when they're up by a couple scores, you're not just seeing 7 wide receivers being rotated throughout this game. And the guys who did rotate it, it was very minimal snaps. So just can you kind of explain why a game like this makes it tough for a coach to say, all right, I'm going to give this guy more reps right now, even though, we haven't consistently seen it, throughout the course of the season.
Yeah. I mean, for the exact reason we saw the ending of the game and how Florida State still had life and they, continue to fight. What happens, I get it, right? Everyone in a perfect world wants to see, all the young guys get in, right? We're up 28-3, fourth quarter, just throw the guys in. But as you saw that this is still college football and the game isn't always over until it's over, right? Team can still come back. And you're not trying to go out there and have, like, let's say a guy, run the wrong route or fumble the ball or, anything like that for no reason. There was really no need for the guys to come in that game. I mean, I get it was 28-3, but it's not like it was 41-3, right? I mean, 3 touchdowns and a field goal and they maybe lose by 1, but still, right? It's still like within the game. And obviously in a rivalry game, like you want your starters, like those senior players to kind of go out playing the game. I know it may sound crazy, but it's kind of like, especially in a rivalry game, like no one wants to get off the field. I think Ruben Bain they're trying to sub him out at one point. And he told the coach no. Like,
Yeah,
that's just what it is.
He pushed Blunt. Blunt came out and he pushed him. Like I saw the whole thing, pushed him like a forceful, like he was pushing all as a tackle and pointed to the sideline. That's Blunt, man. Blunt's a big dude. I don't know if they had words after, but I mean, man, I was surprised
it's just like you want to finish the job, right? No one wants to get subbed out. No one wants to leave the field. Like, this is our arch rival, big game. We're putting it to them. Like, no, I want to stay here and finish this. I don't want to get out the game. I practice. We had a bye week in the game. Like, I'm not getting out of here. We got a bye week after this game. I'll rest during the bye week. But for right now, I'm in attack mode. And so I think that's part of it as well. I do think as we get into maybe like, the ACC, well, this was ACC play, but the rest of the ACC games, you'll probably see like the Josh Moores and, some Ray get in there. Tony Johnson, obviously, at times throughout the game, like we saw versus like USF, Bethune, even a little bit of Florida. But I just think, man, it's just sometimes it's the way the game flow, right? Who's cooking, right? Like, why would you take CJ Daniels out the game when he's obviously hot? Why would you take Malachi Tony out the game when he's hot? Like, you don't want to like kill these guys' momentum and like kind of like, I wouldn't say workflow, but workflow.
Yeah. So
that's kind of how I see it. So it doesn't surprise me.
Playing time saying need AR to fix Jojo Trader. You got a few jobs now. I mean, you're working multiple jobs, so I don't know if that's in the cards. But let me ask you, just put yourself in this and look with Jojo. We said it. There's a bye week. To me, this is a great opportunity for him to really get right. He's had injuries. Mario talked about him locking into practice, so that's not just kind of us like spreading rumors or whatever. I'm just trying to go off what's said publicly. A week like this where you got through the stretch, going to the ACC play, you got a bye week now. Yeah. If you put yourself in the shoes of like, let's say the Mark Fletchers, the Carson Becks, CJ Daniels, I'd say it'd be the leaders of this offense. Like, what are you doing with a guy like Jojo who you're going to need down the stretch, right? He can really impact this team in a positive way down the stretch, but he's been injured. He's probably frustrated. Like, how do you approach a guy like that as a leader of this team?
It's difficult, right? I think he's in a unique situation that, it happens all the time throughout college football. But in this case, he's a young guy, right? He still hasn't technically like shown us, or the world, he hasn't shown himself to the world what he can do, right? He got his friend, obviously, Jeremiah Smith, who went in day one, killing it, household name, Ohio State. And then you got Malachi Tony come in at your own school, and he out the gate, one of the best weapons in college football. So it's like that, like kind of like lack of, I wouldn't say self-esteem, right? Because I don't think it's that, but I can understand where you're probably a little bit reserved, or you're kind of like, damn, like I'm not like, I'm happy for him, but like I know I can be helping our team do that. Like I can still help this team. So it's just fighting that mental battle right there. I think him getting in the game and making some plays will kind of relieve that. I'm not sure that's the reason why he's not, maybe if they say he's not practicing hard or he could practice harder. I don't know, honestly. But I will say is that football is a long season, and especially if we're going to the playoffs, like you're not trying to push a guy like that obviously out the door or anything. You want him to get on board to where the team is going. And I think that's a kid that can definitely help us win. And just use like a realistic example. Just look at how Darrell Ingham helped save 2 of our games like throughout the season. He wasn't a guy that you counted on in like big games, or you would have thought you would count on, right? And how dominoes fall, a guy gets nicked up, 1 week a guy's hurt, and then before you know it, he's starting, right? It only takes, knock on wood, if a guy goes down right now, like he's the guy that is most likely going to get in the game, and you're going to probably count on him, Josh Moore, probably. But other than that, I think you just got to stay the course. Like Mario said, just keep practicing hard to get yourself, in game shape, whatever the case may be. Get right, get on the same wavelength as a team, because right now he's almost like the outlier, right? Everyone's kind of here like winning together and battling, and then he's just kind of there just looking on the outside, similar to what Carson Beck said about the spring when he was here, just kind of watching everyone kind of go through a grind. You're kind of the outer one out. So I just think as the weeks go on, he gets, he kind of gets in rhythm a little bit with the team in practice, I should say, get in sync with everyone. And once he gets on the field, I think he has that first big catch, that first big play. I think then that monkey's off his back, because that's what I feel like it is right now. Big monkey on his back, and he hasn't had that catch yet. Notre Dame game, for example, right? 2 targets, both deep passes, looking for that big splash play, didn't come up with it. So you kind of like, you just feel left out, man. I'm not going to lie. That's just what it feels like.
Time saying, appreciate your comment. He says, this guy was supposed to be wide receiver 1. He earned number 1. Now he lost it. I mean, I don't know. The person who earned number 1, wide receiver 1, and really it's 2 guys. I mean, are the guys you're seeing on the field right now. Those are the guys that in camp were the top guys. I think, what you might be referring to as spring, when Jojo made a lot of plays, but spring is spring. And the injury, I think, hurt him. I mean, I was right next to you, Ahmmon, when he got rolled up. I remember asking him, like, how bad is it? You're like, oh, he'll be straight. And which he was. I mean, it wasn't like he tore his Achilles or anything.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if anyone earned to me, the guys that earned it are the ones that you see getting the ball. I mean, that's CJ Daniels, that's Malachi. But like you said, Ahmmon, this is not even a halfway through the season if it goes as long as we want it to go. It's really, it's because it's a long season. And I want to pull up this comment, because this to me was the best description I had heard of the season, because, what's new to college football, which you didn't deal with, is the 12-team playoff, right? So it's a whole new deal in that way. So I'm pulling up the comment because I thought this was a great comment right here from Mr. Coach Fields, my guy. He goes, the first 5 games were Rivalry state champ season. Next set of games is conference season. Then you got championship season right after. All come with different circumstances, approaches, mindset. Love to hear what you think about this on the podcast. And I thought that was an interesting way to just kind of break it down, because it really is like 3 seasons when you look at the schedule.
Yeah, no, I mean, shit, I don't know who that is, but he broke that down perfect. I mean, yeah, like it was all the Florida schools, like our rivals, all that stuff. Even Notre Dame is like our rival, right? All that stuff was early on, battles, tough line of scrimmage play, right? And then we got our bye week, Florida State bye week. So now we get into our conference. We just got to go 7-0 in that right now, and that's like the new focus, right? 1-0 every week, but just win our conference, and then after that, to the point, it's literally playoffs. Win or go home from that point. So yeah, now you gotta break it like that. It's a long season, man. Like guys who may not be producing right now, like they may become guys later in the season, right? You don't want to, like, you just never know, man. Football is a weird thing. It gets weird sometimes out there. You'll be fucked. All we know, Jojo might be the damn reason we win the that.
Exactly. That's the poster that's going to live, that lives forever. They're painting murals of that in Overtown or wherever they paint those big murals on the highway. Like you don't even know. Like that's all that story is kind of untold. I thought your Langham example, different players, but very good example, which is just like you never know when that moment comes, and it's just about putting yourself in the position to be on the field, right, and to get those opportunities.
Exactly.
So that's a good hope. We're positive JoJo podcast. We talk about it a lot because people ask us about it a lot, and I bring up the practice thing simply because Mario brought it up in public. So like, what else we're gonna go on? I mean,
well, we talked about it last week. That's what Ahmmon and I mean, we talked about the comment last week as well.
Yeah, but I'm saying like we bring it up because it's public. Like we're not trying to like air dirty laundry or anything like that, or start rumors or anything. That's just kind of what's been out there. So he's there, he's in uniform, and I think this bye week, man, is going to be a good opportunity for him.
Man, I feel like people be asking you guys the same question, bro. I just feel like they want a different answer. And I feel like they're like trying to catch you in a lie or something. So they ask the same question every week to see if your answer changes or something. Like, no, last week.
A lot of times people aren't listening. Maybe when we answer it, but sometimes the same person does.
Yeah, like, bro, like I'll be watching the show, right? I'm like, the JoJo talk. I'm like, bro, like, didn't Malachi just go for like 100 or some yards? And
people call me. People say I'm a JoJo hater because I think I show a little bit of frustration at how many times I answer the question. It has nothing to do with JoJo, obviously. It's just I think everything we've said is it's on him, man. He's got to go get it, and hopefully he can go do it, and we'll be.
That's what I'm saying, Pete. Like, that's not hating. You're just literally saying, like, dude, like, you don't make you're not crystal ball, right? You can't make the kid play or not. Like, it's just
and my thing too. My thing too is this. Because like Ahmmon, people in the comments yesterday were like, man, we need to rotate more. Like there was a lot of comments about the wide receiver rotation. I'm like, hold on a second. Did Did these guys not have 2 touchdowns each? Like
they had all our points.
You know, Marian, I think people want to see a little bit more from Keelin Marian, but like he, to me, hasn't done anything to be like, hey, we need to go give Jojo reps over him right now.
Yeah.
Like Jojo's got to go get it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it goes game by game. I think that USF game, like you saw, like Keelin Marian was featured. I mean, to be honest, USF game was probably Keelin Marian coming out party, or would have been, because Beck missed him on like 2 deep passes.
Yeah.
And he was open. So
Yeah.
that could have been a game where everyone's like, okay, he can actually play receiver, but it's still coming. But to your point, I mean, why would you take a guy out of a game who's not doing anything to hurt the team, right? I mean, okay, he had the play where he's in motion, he moved up a little bit. Like that happens pretty often, sometimes in college football, because he's running with his back turned to the play. So he's trying to hear the ball get snapped type of thing. But other than that, man, I mean, the ball's thrown his way more times than not. He's caught the ball, right? He's not just dropping passes left and right or whiffing on blocks. So he's an overall good player. Obviously, he's a weapon, right? Teams got to respect the reverse and different things he can create. He is a downfield threat as well. Even if he doesn't get the ball, like if you really just watch like some of the plays of him running goal balls or posts or whatever, like he's still stretching the defense. Like he's still holding that safety. So they have to play us head up, you know? So, you know, I like Marian. Like I said, I've been big on him since he came in. I think he has some ability, and I think, you know, new team, new system, new quarterback, like he's still getting in the groove. You know, but I'm not gonna do the whole, you know, a guy that's not playing should play over a guy that is playing thing.
Ralph says Keelin Marian cost the team 2 touchdowns. The reverse, I mean, he could have scored there. I don't know if that's what he's referring to. What's the other one?
Oh, the Malachi. The emotion.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
But like, I mean, see, like this is where like I don't really get on that, because if I can I'm willing to bet my life that other plays happen throughout the game that cost us points or touchdowns.
But great question from Kevin here. I want to direct this to you, Ahmmon, because he said keep rotation short, which, I mean, look, I remember when we had Reggie Wayne and Santana Moss, they didn't come off the field that much. I don't see Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate coming off the field too much. But Kevin Dennis saying keep rotation short. I used to hate Randy Shannon teams used to play 7 receivers, hard to get into the flow of the game. You were on that field. Is that true that like when there was extra rotation, it kind of got you? I know you want to be on the field, period, right? Yeah. Obviously, you want to be on the field as much as you can. Yeah. But did not being on the field affect you when you were on the field? Like, did it mess up your flow at all?
Not fully, but there's definitely some truth to that. Like, especially when it's your game, like, you know, when it's your game, like you can feel it. Like the game, you're in the game plan, you and the quarterback, y'all clicking, right? Don't take me off the damn field, coach. Like, I know it may be look winded, you know what I'm saying? And when I'm dead tired, I'll hit my head sub out, but nah, like no receivers, bro. You're not trying to come out the game, you know. Now, if you run somebody off on a run play like 40 yards down the field, 50 yards, then you're probably going to get subbed out for like a play, and then you're going to come right back in. But you know, it can kill the vibes also, like with the quarterback as well. Like having 7-8 different guys coming in the game is definitely like it just makes it more difficult, right? Because you can't, Carson Beck 100% isn't getting all the reps with, you know, guys that are second, third string. That's just not happening. So you're just kind of throwing off the flow and the rhythm. I
think it's on the quarterback a lot more than people realize. I'm on. I think.
Yeah.
The rotations are like. The rotations are a lot more quarterback driven, which is, again, we go back to Cam Ward last year. Mm-hmm. There was tight rotations. He did not want to deal with the young guys. He just didn't. Like, they weren't ready.
Yeah.
Carson Beck, obviously he's dealing. Malachi Tony is that guy. So if you're ready, you're gonna play. But like, the quarterback has some say in this thing too, man. Let's not get this thing twisted.
Yeah. Every play you go out there and line up, like, that's an opportunity. And the more you try to mix and match, like, it just makes it more difficult to execute the play. Because you got to remember, all 11 guys have to execute on every play to be successful. Throwing in a guy who may or may not know what he's doing 100% of the time, like someone like Malachi Tony, is literally always where he's supposed to be, playing with that effort. Like, you don't, like, that's a quarterback who he trusts Malachi out there. Like, that's trust. He trusts Daniels. He trusts Marian. He trusts Josh Moore. Like, that's trust. When he's, you know, USF game, just throwing a goal ball, up ball to Moore, like, that's a different level of trust. Now, everyone else, you still got to come along. And not saying it's not going to ever be there, but you still have to keep going in order to crack into that rotation. It's not going to just be a fatigue thing. Oh, that guy's tired. I mean, fuck, why you think these guys work out every day and run all summer, like to play in these long games and things of that nature, you know? So I'm good on the rotation, man. If we get like Josh Moore, JoJo, and then Tony Johnson's in there, like I'm cool with that. Like I'm cool with that. That's what three? That's like 6 guys, 5-6 guys you can give or take. I'm cool with that right there. That's about solid. Hold on, having the whole team.
Hold on. Now we're taking a little far with Keelin Marian. Did we not see some of the catches he had against USF there?
They're gonna say it's USF. Look, I know the play already.
By the way, he had a great catch against Notre Dame, a phenomenal catch against Notre Dame.
To Pete, he would have had a go-ahead touchdown if he didn't get tackled after cooking a guy on a double move. But we're not gonna see like this is. I get this guy.
This is okay. Now you're getting frustrated too, right, Ahmmon?
Make out Florida. Hold on, make out Florida. I know 100% fact you're from like Miami-Dade. This is that I can tell the Miami-Dade bias come out when they start discrediting guys who not from Miami. I be peeping now. It's an agenda. I be seeing it, bro. Like, look, Marian, he can still improve all that type of stuff. But right now, you cannot tell me a reason he shouldn't be playing right now. Only thing they're going to say is that, one guy has more talent than the other, but one guy is on the field actually producing and, he's making plays and he's on the field, right? It's hard to go with what a guy could be when there's a guy actually doing it right now. You know what I mean? So look, I like our receiving core. It's a good thing to argue about where you got this guy who could be this, this and that. But
Tony Johnson, we didn't mention him either. He's still getting some snaps out there.
Oh, hey, Tony Johnson not even playing that much because he playing behind, like I say, arguably the best weapon in college football.
Yeah, I interviewed Tony Johnson yesterday for Storm Sessions. That'll be coming out on the channel next week. Great kid and like good size too. Like he's not a tiny little slot receiver, man. So I think he'll factor in. I think this schedule. This is not Bethune where you're just out there trying to do things besides win because you expect to win. You got to win all these games. This is ACC. We've been blowing it every year, but I do think you can maybe get a little bit more like at time. You're gonna have opportunities to see other guys, not because you're doing it for like participation trophy, but you're trying to find out who's going to be with you on this last stretch run. I think that's part of what's going to happen here. So again, you got to win the games. So it's going to be it's going to be Malachi, CJ, majority. But I do think you do want to see who you can ride with and develop for that third season, which is that championship season. Dade County bias. We're guilty of that too, man. People say I got Cuban bias because I hype up, or Hispanic bias because I hyped up Mendoza. I hyped up.
Notice how Ahmmon though doesn't say it's a South Florida thing because he's a Palm Beach guy.
Oh yeah.
See, hey,
he's wiping his hands clean of these allegations.
Yeah, man. Listen, now if it was 5-6-1, I can understand. I might be a little, you know what I'm saying. But I already know when it comes to Miami-Dade, because look, to be honest, when we coming out of high school, I literally remember like. Sam Bruce from down south, Mullins, we're all in the same class, but everyone was like, those guys were better and all that type of stuff. And it was like because, St. Thomas or Gulliver or whatever the case may be. So from then, I'm like, bro, there's definitely some like bias because I'm like, there's no way they're like looking at the film and like just put me at the bottom of the list. I'm like, all right, but we get a college, we gonna do our thing. But that's kind of when I started wondering, like, is there like a county bias type of thing? And then obviously just like after playing and stuff and just getting into like the recruiting, like you see like all the bias from like, this guy is better than this guy. Why? Because he went to this school or he from Dade County or his parents did this back in the day. And it's like, bro, what are we doing?
Well, I'll be devil's advocate. I think a lot of it really is a lot of people listen to the show are coaches, and maybe they were the high school coach or they were like a youth football coach along the way, or their son played on the same youth team. So I could see those bias. I'd be the same way. I'd be like, oh man, I got to get this guy.
But the worst bias possible, I promise you, is the one where they say that, oh, I know the mom or I knew his dad. Those are the worst. Like, oh my God, brother. Like the kid can do nothing wrong. I swear to God. I'm like, bro, why are you so like heavily like the kid can do like maybe his route running ain't there. Maybe he's not ready yet. No, he's better than everybody. I'm like, bro, why are you saying that? I knew his mom. Oh, okay. So there we go. I see.
But our boy, our Makeout Florida is he's admitting it at least here. He says Dade County bias first, then it's South Florida bias.
It's funny because now doing the show, Ahmmon, you say that I do the show Storm Session. So like when I interview these players for the UM channel, I talk to the families all the time. Plus I see them at practice. A lot of them watch this show. So I'm like that with everybody. So like everybody's, I want everybody to do good, because I know the mom, know the dad, know the uncle, and a lot of times I just gotta say, be patient. It's a long season. Yeah. It's a long season, and I mean it. It's true because if you're not playing now, like we broke it down a second ago. There's 3 seasons here, and the most important one. I mean, each one's the immediate thing is the most important because if you don't take care of what's in front of you, there's going to be no season in the back. But just big picture, man. There's a lot of goals still ahead. Going on, but just Jay's cracking up. I'm a friend of the family.
Last day. So the real example. So I seen Keontae Scott early at practice, right during camp. Right, I was out there seeing him say what's up. Well, my little brother went to Auburn, maybe a little bit before you, whatever. Oh, cool. From California, whatever. Okay, cool. Guess what? Now Keontae Scott can't do nothing wrong, brother. Like
great kid, low Keontae Scott.
Hey, he can't do nothing. Hey, best nickel in college football. What are you talking about right now?
Great dude. These guys are good dudes, man. It's like I really do think the team's gotten good that way. One thing I want to ask you about, Ahmmon, because speaking of all the we're venting on things we deal with on these shows. It's not deal with. This is like the best time of our lives, but things we face and encounter on this show a lot. But one thing we always encounter, and I encounter the most, is people say this guy's a Green Tree All-American because I'm at practice, so I'm hyping these guys up, and I hear Green Tree All-American. And here's my thought on it, and I want you as someone who's actually put the cleats on Green Tree. And now, by the way, are sitting in my seat because you go to practice and you watch these guys. Yeah. So my view of it is this. Yes, are there Green Tree All-Americans in terms of like this guy has a good scrimmage in front of the boosters and everybody's talking about him, and then that's one good scrimmage, and then maybe it doesn't translate to the field. Yes. Are there guys that maybe do good in spring, then maybe they have a bad summer? And I'm not talking about this scenario, but we've seen it over the years. They have a bad summer, and then they don't perform in camp, and they don't play. Yeah, you were talking about this guy in spring. Okay, those are Green Tree All-Americans. I have very rarely, and I'd say 99% of the time, the guys that consistently perform on Green Tree, those are the guys that play. And the examples I would use this camp, Malachi Tony, every day. Yep. Bryce Fitzgerald, every day. And if you listen to the show every day, which a lot of you guys do, every time you get people ask me about practice in the freshman, I'm like, Malachi Tony, Bryce Fitzgerald. People thought I just ran out of material, but I was doing it every day because it was a consistent performance. Would you agree with that? What do you think when you hear the term Green Tree All-American and all that kind of hype?
Yeah, no, it's real. There is guys who actually show up during practice and then get to a game like the lights are too big or the moment's too big, right? I've quite literally seen guys not want to get in a game that played significant snaps for Miami, and they were they're just scared. I'm not saying nothing wrong with that. Some guys get nervous or anxiety before games, whatever the case may be. But to your point, there is definitely a lot more guys who are producing on Green Tree that do play in the games, right? And I think people do nitpick like the ones you I guess get wrong, right? Like right now, people are like, "Oh, Lofton was hyped up, and he's supposed to be this crazy superstar player," but it's a long season, right? But that's a guy that consistently was making plays at Green Tree, spring camp, and he's gonna be a guy. Now, sometimes the timing isn't there, but
injuries.
The guy getting nicked up, right? I mean, to your point, Jojo was out there doing his thing, right? Getting open, making plays. And then, one little injury happens and then, it kind of derails that. So I do think I could understand where people get, I guess, frustrated because they feel like you're like lying to them or we're lying to them or, but whatever. But I mean, we're out there. We see it. If they were at practice, they would be saying the same thing. So I just try to understand, like, they're not really there. They're just kind of getting like secondhand info essentially. And they're just kind of, now they're hyping up to their friends and family and group chats about this player. Then they don't do anything. Now it's like, that's where I think it comes from, to be honest. But Green Tree, at the end of the day, like, you're right. Malachi Tony, I mean, damn, I feel like every show was about Malachi and him. Oh, my screen froze. But
yeah, we hear you though.
Okay. Yeah. I feel like every show was like about Malachi and him producing, every practice and being productive. So, and we're seeing that every game. Every game he's out there making plays. Same thing, like you said, Bryce Fitzgerald. You know, I think the whole talk was him being a ball hawk and him, you know, coming in kind of late, getting there late, and still like being able to get in that rotation that early. Those were like early signs that you got a good player. And then obviously we see him have that really good interception, you know, almost took it back for a touchdown last game. Like, you got to perform on Green Tree and you got to perform at practice, because that's where it starts. That's how you know what type of game you're going to have like that week, you know, how you perform in practice, you know, how you fit into the scheme, you know, that week. That's kind of how you get an idea what that week will look like for you.
So, man, we hear you. You're freezing up. I'm going to kick you out and put you back in. So just hold tight. Let's see if that works.
Okay.
The oldest trick in the book. This is the only technological trick I know. Turn it off and turn it on. So here you go. I'll put you back in. All right. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Well, you're a black screen, but let's see if you bounce back here, because I want to ask you this question before we let you go.
Okay.
Malachi Tony, as we talked about a lot from all angles, but I want to talk about this specific angle. When he came in, watching him in high school, and he came in reclass, so he wasn't done developing yet. He was basically and I was part of this saying is what he was. So it was everybody saying quicker than fast, let's say, quarterback friendly, knows where to go, ball skills, all that. He was that kind of guy, slot.
Yep.
His dad was a speed guy. We always heard the legends about his dad, De La Brown racing Devin Hester and all that. It looks to me, from just watching as a fan, that he is not only playing at an extremely high level, he has gotten faster, like just straight up speed, horsepower. He looks faster to me than what at least I saw in high school and what I thought he was. Like, what do you see when you look at just the speed and acceleration of Mally?
Man, it shocked the hell out of me. I'll tell you that. And shout out to the strength and conditioning program, because obviously, you know, the high school level, you know, is not nowhere near where you're going to, you know, the muscle you're going to build, the type of speed training you're going to learn in college. So I do think we just saw that on display. But yeah, no, you're right. I didn't think coming out of high school, you know, he was like a straight line speed type of guy or that quick as he is. I know he had, like, you know, good route running, good hands, you know, but I didn't see that explosiveness. Like, seeing that play where he caught the ball on 4th and 2, and to see how he was able to pull away from, you got to remember, those guys were already in stride. Those guys were already running behind him. For him to make the move and then almost like trip a little bit and then to pick it back up and then pull away, I was like, yeah, man, that's another level that he's like tapping into. And I mean, it's just very impressive, man. Like, I didn't know he had that in him. Like, I know we're talking about, you know, maybe he's a little faster than Restrepo, but yeah, shit, he killed that argument right there.
And I'm not saying this again just because you're on the show, but the last time I seen that kind of just separating ability down the, like, just pulling away, was the play you made against West Virginia, right? We're just watching it, and it's like, that's a different kind of deal. So Ahmmon,
I'll say, hold on. I gotta say this, Ahmmon. I gotta just give you the update. Okay. So I've run the numbers. 70 yards per game is what Malachi would need to surpass. Oh, well, he hopped off here. Maybe the screen is freezing, but so I'll just say it here. 70 yards per game is what he's back in the studio here. Oh, here we go.
Wait, hold on. We got him back. Look at that.
Yeah, we got him back. We got him back. Okay, so listen, 70 yards per game over the next 8 games would surpass your record. He's at 75 yards per game right now. Man. So this is going to be a tight one, man. This is going to be a tight one. Obviously, you have some easier competition coming up. Maybe there's not as many. Maybe, you know, there's not really stat padding going on late in games. So it's going to be a tight one, man. You might have a chance here.
Listen, I get it. And listen, I promise you, I'm not even mad about it. I'm happy for it, because when you see a player of that talent, like, that's where I'm like happy with it, right? Where maybe if it was a dude who wasn't good, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could be like, what? I'd be like,
well, it makes you say, like, man, I was really, I was pretty darn good, man.
Yeah, man. I'll be like, you know, but I mean, bro, to see the kid just raw talent, and like, you can kind of get a comparison of like the level impact. Like, I guess we can say both had coming in early, but man, that kid is just different, bro. Like, I think Mario said the moment is just, he doesn't get into the whole atmosphere, the crowd, and how big of a game it is. Like, he always has the same demeanor every single game, whether they're playing Bethune-Cookman, whether it was Notre Dame the first game of the season, Florida State on the road, like he always has that same energy, the same vibe to him. And that's where I think it's that consistency. Like he's showing up, he's preparing the same way every single week. And we talk about not getting too high, not getting too low for certain games. And I feel like he's always been right there. And you see it. You see it. Like he really should have had like damn near 200 yards. If we're gonna be honest, he should have had like 200 yards, 3 touchdowns, like a legacy game versus Florida State. It didn't work out that way, but I think everyone watching, the whole world at this point, sees that this kid is, a real weapon, not just as a freshman, throughout college football. I think any team right now in college football would be more than happy to have Malachi Tony at the slot receiver position. Any team, I don't even care who it is. Oregon, Ohio State. I guarantee Ohio State would swap out their slot receiver for Malachi right now.
And look, I mean, Miami's number 2 in the country right now. So these are the peers. We're talking. Yeah. It's not like back in the day where it's like, hey, Ahmmon could play for Alabama and they're up there. We're kind of down in the middle. They're up there. So I want to get this comment. Gerard Middleton, former team chaplain, said Mario said if everyone put in the same work as Malachi, they would be having the same success. The work ethic part of it, and you talked about a weight room because I think that's why he's getting faster too. Is he's a super hard worker in the weight room. We're seeing pancaking guys. I mean, we talk so much about talent that sometimes I don't think we give enough credit to the way what these guys do off the field. The hardest workers, like we think of hard workers, we think of like the walk-on. Like, like the best players are usually like the consistently best players. They got to do it year in, year out. Those guys are usually the hardest workers. And I don't think we give enough credit to people's mental when they're so talented. I'm glad were you there when Gerard was there at Chaplin? You know Gerard?
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to him, man.
Good comment. All right, man. We'll let you go out on top instead of just like a black box. We got the picture. So,
hey, can I get one last shout out?
Get them all.
Hey, man, listen, I got 2 people I want to shout out really quick. Shout out to Zachariah Poyser at safety for the people doubting him and saying his angles and all that stuff. That kid is playing lights out. Obviously, Jacoby Thomas, that's the obvious. Also, shout out to Carson Beck. Why? Because it was that hate starting to build, that I don't know about him, his demeanor, he didn't look this and that, is his arm, and he just completely went out there and erased all that shit. So shout out to him going out there, making us, want to know again against Florida State on the road, just handling business and just making it look a certain way, throwing the ball. He just made it look a certain way. So shout out to him, man. That's all. I had to get that one out, man. The narrative was starting to, I can see the narrative forming about his confidence and him as a passer and all that type of stuff. I even saw one comment saying, "Oh, is he back with one of the twins?" I'm like, you know what? I need a game from him. That's why I said before the show, or on the last show I did, I was like, I like Carson Beck 300 yards, and it would have happened, but I figured it was going to be that type of game. Just sensing how that talk was starting to chirp a little bit, and these dudes, they hear it. Trust me, they hear it. So
it's starting to look a certain way on the field. The team's starting to look a certain way. The show's starting to look a certain way. We got Ahmmon Richards on Tuesday. Nobody better. The man, appreciate you.
I appreciate it as always, man. Go
later,
Canes.
Ahmmon.
All righty,
people. Canes.
Yep.
Had a comment here from Joel Warren, who I don't think you've been on the show when we said it, but Joel Warren, former Canes hoops player back in the 80s, was a starter for the Canes team for a couple of years there. He says, bye week. I know Pete's going to bring some basketball intel around Thursday. Today's a huge day for the Canes hoops program. It's a first in program history as they are holding Pro Day, which is a thing that, in recent years, a lot more programs are doing it. It used to be just the Kentuckys of the world. Calipari would run these huge showcases, the Dukes, the Carolinas. And this is the first one now in school history. I think it's a really good opportunity to get NBA people on campus, get scouts here, get these guys some early feedback as to where they stand. And just in general, this is another marketing recruiting tool to show the guys that you're recruiting, like, hey, this is a big time operation and how we do things here. Unfortunately not open to the media, so I'm a little upset I won't be there today. I ran into Trey Donaldson yesterday. He's pumped up about it. He's a guy who I expect to be really the vocal, one of the vocal leaders, but I would say the alpha on Miami's team this year. I think take a big step up in terms of his offensive efficiency. I ran into Shelton Henderson last week, D, outside of the football facility, and I thought it was a football player. He's put on some really good weight this off season, looking like, you can tell why that was a 5-star recruit there. So very excited about him. Started practice a couple weeks ago here. There's no exhibition game. So normally the last, since I've been going to the games here, they have an exhibition game every year. No exhibition game this year. They're going to have 2 scrimmages, closed scrimmages against FAU and USF on October 18th and then October 25th here coming up in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So, those are closed scrimmages. We probably won't get too much info. I'll get you guys the info here on the CanesInSight podcast as to what comes out of that. But no exhibition this year. Timotej Malovic, is Kyle's asking about him. Obviously, you have Timotej Malovic, you have Saleh Al-Tuntaj, and Noam Dovrat. Timotej Malovic, the buzz is major around him. I mean, I think this guy ends up being a starter for Miami, if not game 1, but really because he got there a little bit later, obviously, as did the other guys. But I think the ability to stretch the floor, initiate offense, he's put on about 10, 15 good pounds of weight. And all of these guys, Kyle, have approached this thing as pros. They've been tone setters, from what I understand, having talked to strength and conditioning coach Zach Zillner, said all of those guys are like ahead of the curve in terms of getting there early, being very professional as to how they approach things. So very excited about those guys. He said Saleh Al-Tuntaj has a 6-pack. Like he's listed at like 280, but he lifts his shirt up and he's rock solid. So I think he's going to provide some really nice depth inside there. And we'll have more info here as practice continues to go here. Of course, all of this basketball coverage brought to you by Aries Law PA. This is for all your estate planning needs. Check out, this is my dad, if you guys don't know, but protect the people and assets you value most. Plan for your future. Schedule your free consultation online or in person, AriesLawPA.com.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to have a backup center. I mean, we didn't have one center for many years, and now we got 2 legit 5s.
Yeah, he said Ernest Udet is really, he said Ernest Udet, and when I say he, Zach Zillner, this is the director of sport performance for Miami, came over from Texas, was with the women's program there, has had a very good relationship with Jay Lucas from his time there, and he told me that both Ernest Udet and Malik Renew were good athletes, but that they've really taken the next step instead of some of the foot speed stuff, the jumping, just the quick twitch stuff that Jay Lucas really wants these guys to all have a piece of. So excited about those guys for sure, man.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to watch. I mean, are there any open opportunities or stuff that we can go to? Let me know, because I want to see the boys. Joel Warren, appreciate you, man. I didn't realize you played for you. Yeah, you're awesome in the comments, man. You crack me up.
Dude, he has a bio, and it says how he dropped 14 points in Madison Square Garden back in a game in the 80s. He has a bio on the Canes website there. So
let's go, man. Representing. Tomorrow also I will be at practice for baseball. I know Canes Cats fired up about that. First open scrimmage. We'll be there at the light. I'll be rolling there at least for the beginning of it, and then we got the Mike Ryan show later. But cannot wait.
Maybe I meet you over there, man. It's Mark Light season.
That's Mark Light, dude. It's the October is the best. It's like the weather's nice. You're just sitting there. I otherwise be in an office like reading briefs, so it's a lot nicer when you can just go to to watch some fall ball baseball, man. So I'm fired up about that. And the buzz is picking up on Canes baseball. The buzz is picking up on Canes basketball. And when the buzz is picking up, we're talking about BUZZN, drinkbuzzn.com. That's drinkbuzzn.com. So many people send me text with pictures of them with the BUZZN tailgate. I know one of your buddies are sending you a text of the BUZZN tailgate. That's what it is, man. 7.5 milligrams, real THC infused seltzer. All the hang, no hangover. Choose your chill. You got cherry, strawberry, watermelon variety pack. You could just get a whole case. I got like 17 cases at my house that I got from them direct. But you go to Big Daddy's Liquors down south. They got a bunch of there's a bunch of liquor stores across the South Florida that got these and more to come. BUZZN, drink BUZZN. We got a question here that I wanted to get to, which is from Clutch. Our guy says, better performance, Beck at Doak or Cam at the Swamp? I got to be honest. I would say Cam at the Swamp. Beck was awesome. I think FSU sucks. I think Florida sucked too, quite frankly. But I think with Cam, the throw rolling left and hitting that to Jacoby George was just such like an iconic play that like it's hard for me to pick anything over that performance. But
no, that flea flicker play is going to be going down in history, man. I think.
No, I mean, he was on fire. I mean, he was throwing. I mean, the one to CJ Daniels was just as good. The one on the one he hit earlier in the game. So yeah, man, that's I don't know. Who are you picking in that one?
Carson Beck.
Yeah. Listen, that was awesome. I think Beck's got some more of those to come.
I think there's also some revisionist history there that last season it didn't amount to anything, but.
Yeah, Brandon, hit me up. Says he works for beer distribution up in Central Florida. Need to get with BUZZN up in the stores up there. I like how you're thinking. Hit me up on Twitter or on CanesInsight.com. 7.6 million posts and counting. But yeah, I think Cam doing his thing there and with the Titans. So he's still getting it done. A lot of nice performances going on. Bagging up saying you could feel the passion.
Hold on.
Yeah.
1-4. We're gonna give him doing his thing on that.
Listen, it's about turning around a program. Jimmy Johnson was 1-15 his first year with the Cowboys, and then they won 3 championships.
Listen, I'll say it before and I said it again. He misses Mario Cristobal as his head coach.
Now you're just stirring it up.
I'm not. He does. He needs protection, and Mario provided that for him.
No, listen, it's a great combo. Hopefully the Titans can, and you're never going to get that kind of protection in college or in the pros. The Eagles are like the absolute best, and it's still more even just because it's the pros. But yeah, I mean, we need to get draft. They should draft CeCe Mauanoa. They should draft Inez Cooper. If Markel Bell's eligible, put him on there too. Just draft all the Cane offensive linemen. They're going to get it done in the pros too. You see Jalen Rivers starting already, so that's going on. Got a lot of comments here. Pete, do you think Messador is a day 2 pick? Very timely question. I want to get my thoughts on this, but first, what are you saying?
He's playing phenomenal right now. I think his age works against him. He's an older. I mean, how old is he? Is he 24, 25 now?
Yeah.
So I think the age works against him, and he's a bit of a tweener for the next level. But pass rush is weird, man. You have one team that falls in love with you, and I mean, if they think that he's slotting in and coming in right away and being a player, I mean, he was in the mix for a day 2 pick a couple years ago before the injury. Right. I know there were teams that liked him in that 3rd, 4th round range. But again, a couple years have gone by now. I'm not sure how he's going to test, again, just being a tweener there. But he'll be drafted for sure.
So let me say this. I'm going to say a couple things. And Bagging up saying the same thing. Messi's a tweener. I'll say this right now. He's not a tweener. I dispute that 1,000,000%. He's not a tweener. Go ahead. And I love Bagging up because he always takes the opposite side. So I'll have to fight with him on here. He's the man. Pull up the film of Messador and this season and show me where he's a tweener, because I don't see any aspect of his game that makes him a tweener now. I understood thinking that before because he was playing defensive tackle last year as an undersized guy. So I understood that going into the year, that discussion. But when he lost weight, he was stretching. He's into swimming. He really took care of his body. And if I didn't tell you anything, if I just said, hey, here's the film, watch number 3. You're watching the film of this season with nothing else of context. You say day 2 pick easily, probably say round 1 pick. Now, I think the age and the injury will drop him out of round 1.
He's not a tweener at this level necessarily because he's playing on the edge, but he's 265.
That's good size.
What's he going to play?
End. That's a good size end.
He's 6'2". I mean,
he's the same height as Bane. He's killing guys right now.
Bane's a tweener too, though. I mean, let's not get it twisted.
I will say this is not just based. So I'm with
that.
I've asked around on Messador's draft stock, NFL sources, and I heard major arrow up one of the biggest arrows up.
Arrow up for sure, because
I mean,
before the
America,
season, he was
like
probably not
NFL.
going to get drafted.
Yeah, well, I mean, but like day 2, very, very real possibility. Like that his film, if you just watch his film, the way he uses his hands. I think the thing with Messador, I think people don't understand. And by the way, like some of the stuff he did, when you look at it now, seeing how it ended up with him being a great defensive end, the fact that he was playing defensive tackle, just taking one for the team, I view that as a positive. I mean, that just shows you what kind of guy he is. Now that we've seen him lose the weight and do what he's doing now, obviously this is what he would need to do in the pros, like this Messador. But what people don't talk about with Messador enough, in my opinion, is he was a linebacker in high school. Like not like a stand-up rush linebacker. Like he was like a middle linebacker in high school. So he is, and he was a good one. He's always been very good moving around laterally, change the direction, all that. He just gained a lot of weight to play inside. Now that you see him at his as appropriate weight, he has power. He uses his hands excellent. He can bend. His motor's relentless. He's tough as can be. But he also has that change of direction and that feel of a linebacker. And you put him in space, which remember, he's playing that boundary defensive end. So he's actually the stand-up defensive end in the system, even though he could easily, I think, play the same role that Bain does as that field defensive end because he's 260 plus. He can move around more than people think. That's really more of what he was, his whole life, was a space player. So I am very bullish on Messador and what he's done. Obviously, on the field, he's one of the best defensive ends in the country. Off the field, great. You couldn't ask for more from a player, team guy, smart, hardworking, everything you want. I think, assuming he stays healthy, that you will, and I'll say this, October 7th, I believe that Messador will be a day 2 pick on his current trajectory.
I strongly disagree with that. Brian says going into
I'm getting that
game.
I'm getting that from sources, and you cannot tell me anything that you see on the field that does not say day 2 pick.
That's fine, but there's a lot more that goes into it.
I heard that about Arroyo, and Arroyo was a top 50 pick, so we'll continue.
Yeah, but you also said Arroyo would be the best rookie tight end in the league, and he's not even number 1 tight end on his team right now. So Brian says going into FSU game, Bain and Messador were PFF's top 2 graded DNs, not a tweener. Unfortunately, the PFF stuff doesn't mean anything for. No,
but it matches the film. They're the top 2 defensive ends in the country right now. I mean, Dylan Stewart.
Yeah, I agree with that. It doesn't mean anything for the next level.
Yeah, but I mean, when you have the size, he's got the size. You got the change of direction. You got the hand use. He's got everything you need.
I don't know that he has this. I don't know that Messador has the size.
He's 265.
Okay.
What size you need? How much size you want?
I mean, again, we'll let the NFL make that decision. But
they will. We'll say it right here.
You said day 2. Okay. We're
I'm about to say
check mark on that. And I hope it happens.
I was saying Cam Ward number 1 overall.
He definitely had.
Royal going high.
He was in that mix
in spring, and I heard pushback.
Yes, and you said first. No, you said first. No. You said first round, and I said no because of the injury history, and that's what happened. He didn't go first round because of the injury.
You were talking about Artavis Boardingham or whatever, some nonsense.
I did not say he was better than him. No way. I said Artavis Boardingham wasn't bad, but I did not ever compare the two. Stop it, D. This is very homerish. Anyways,
we could pull up the tapes. I said Cam Ward 1-1 in April.
You did, and we'll see how the decision turns out.
That story's been told, but anyways, go ahead.
Canes Cats Heat 305 says, "Tell us how many picks we will have." Beck, Fletcher, Mauanoa. That's 4 right there. Inez Cooper 5. CJ Daniels, I'll give him yes.
Yeah, I would have said no before the year. I think maybe yes. Markel Bell will get drafted.
Yes. If he decides to come out, so that's 7.
Yeah.
That's 7 right now.
David Blay. Wesley Bassant.
Moten if he comes out. Bassant, that's 10 right there. I don't know if Moten comes out.
Keontae
Scott 11. Yeah, you're getting double digits this year. Mo Toure, we'll see the injury history. Maybe a thing there. He looks the part. But the inside linebackers sometimes, the off-ball linebackers, I'll call them. Sometimes they're devalued a bit at this stage. But
so Bagging up saying, but yeah, I know you don't want to take the opposite side. Bagging up. That's why I like talking to you, man. You know your stuff. Trust me, man. I love it. I love it. That's what I want. Joel Klatt said OSU's defensive ends are better than the Canes. So first of all, Joel Klatt works for Fox, so he's a Big Ten in the pocket, right? That's all. That's just a business deal with that. OSU, I love OSU's defensive ends. I mean, Arble, that guy I was talking about the first game against Texas. That guy, the edge they got, who's really like a linebacker / edge. He's awesome. But I mean, Ruben Bain is better than anybody they have by a mile. Playing time saying D is the best ambassador for UM. He drinks the Kool-Aid 24/7. Listen. Stop me when I tell a lie. They said I was drinking the Kool-Aid on Tony. I think we've seen.
I just tried to, and you shut me down.
They try to tell me what lie? What lie? So I projected that I think Arroyo would be the best tight end. We'll see if he is. I definitely had him as a star in spring.
You're saying he's not dude. Messador is. Here's the problem with Messador for the next level. I'm not an evaluator, but like I know how these guys generally think. He's a tweener in a different way than what you're thinking. He's not a tweener. He's not a tweener like he is in this level where he's either a D tackle or a DN. He's a tweener like, can you stand him up? Can he drop in coverage a little bit? And yes, he's shown he can move around a little bit like you're saying. But to be a day 2 pick, I don't know with the measurables. There's going to be guys who are drafted ahead of him that are nowhere near as good football players as him. That's the issue, D.
Yeah, we've seen that.
Because he's just that's more what I'm getting at. I think a lot's going to come down to his pre-draft process. What do teams want to? What weight do they want to see him at? How do they want to see him moving? Do they want to see him put weight on? I don't know. I don't know how that process is going to look for him, but a lot of what happens here will come down to how he handles that process, how he tests. Right? All of that stuff, because if you're going to be that size, you better test out of the building, is what I'm saying.
Well, it depends what you want to do, because I think if you put him at an outside linebacker, which is really what he is now, I mean, he's a defensive end, but he's the boundary. He's the one that stands up at times, and he's his size is beyond perfect for that. Like I said, he was a linebacker in high school. As a normal defensive end, he's a little short. He's not tiny. He's not 5'11", but he's 6'2". That's not where you want, but I think his weight and his power is there. So
Deepwater says if he runs a 4.5 is day 2. If he runs a 4.5, he might be day 1, my friend.
Yeah, he's not going to run a 4.5.
but he's not running a 4.5.
He's not going to run a 4.5. But the word I've heard talking to people is just this guy, when you look at the film, and this is NFL, this is one of the most spectacular improved players in the country. And that considering his position and the fact that he can probably go in and play right away, and he's not going to need that much development. Yes, he's old, but he's also not going to have too much of a ramp-up process. That we'll see. The injuries, I think, is the big one. He's got to stay healthy. He's got to stay healthy. Healthy is where he's got to. That's the health is the thing that we got to see from him. But yeah, I would say no. Bell, Cooper, Mawanoa, those 3. Beck 4. If Fletcher leaves, that's 5. I would say CJ Daniels has worked his way into that as a 6.
Bain, we didn't mention Bain, so
Bain
that's another one.
And Messador is 7 and 8.
Wesley,
Blay would be 9. Wesley would be 10. Motoré, the health is going to be the question there. Jacoby Thomas is an interesting one with the way he's playing, and he's looking real fast. That could be one to add. That could be another one. And then I would throw in Keontae Scott. I think would be drafted as a nickel. So it could be up to 11.
Yeah, definitely. No, and I think it'll be a big year. The question is how many of these guys are top 3 rounds. I think is the better question there.
Yeah, I'd say Mawanoa, Bain, first round. Beck potentially first round. It's just going to depend on how the season finishes. But if he continues his trajectory, that's first round. I would pick Inez Cooper day 2. I don't know. Guards are tricky. Jalen Rivers got picked day 3 when I thought he was a day 2 pick. And I think he's playing like it. He's starting. So, I'm watching his film right now. He looks good against Detroit. So, I think they missed on that because the guys I was screaming about from the beginning, Cam Ward, Elijah.
I know, but that's what I'm trying to tell you about Messador. Like, he can turn out to be a good player, but that doesn't mean like he was worth a 2nd round pick. If that's what they think based on the measurables and everything else that goes into it. And I think that's kind of like Rivers is a very good example of that because he was older. He played a lot, had some injuries as well, right? So I think that's not a bad comparison. I think I could probably see it playing out pretty similar
for Cooper, but I think he was drafted too low. I think like I said it ahead of time. And I think the fact that he's starting.
I meant Messador. I was using it as the Messador.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, like, I think with Cooper, I would compare Rivers and Cooper. Just guards, you don't know where they're going to pick. I think he's a day 2 pick because I think he's going to start for a long time and be good. So that's where Rivers was drafted day 3. I think he is showing that he really should have been a day 2 pick. So I put him in that category. But as far as other day 2s, Markel Bell, I hear different things. He's just such a polarizing player because of his size. I think he needs to really just continue to play well, have a great playoff run if we get to that point, and then do good in the Senior Bowl. And then people might look at him. It's just with people look always skeptical about guys that are different like him, where his size is so unique and his movement, his movements, like there's not going to be elite when you're that big. So I think that's something I'm not sure he's a day 2, but he could be if he finishes strong, but I would say right now not. I would say Mark Fletcher, if he stays healthy. Running backs are extremely volatile. You saw Ollie Gordon go 6th round or something like that, 5th round. Damian Martinez going 6th and not even making the team. But I could see that for Fletcher where he goes day 3. Obviously, he needs to stay healthy. I could also see a team falling in love with him. Like I see the Ravens being like, man, this guy's built to play for us. And they just take him, because he is exactly what the Ravens could need. Blay could be day 2, maybe. I don't know. What do you see on Blay? He doesn't get that many sacks.
Yeah, I think top 100 is not out of the realm of possibility for him, but he's gotta produce some now here down the stretch. He's got to dominate some of these ACC teams.
Keontae Scott, I could see.
Yeah, I mean he was a 3rd, 4th round type of guy a couple years ago before he had the down year.
Yeah, I think of all the guys we're talking about, I think the one that we're not looking at that way enough is Keontae Scott. I could see Keontae Scott being that guy. Like where he goes 3rd round, and we're like, oh wow, Keontae Scott, 3rd round pick, day 2 pick. That's
he's got the size. He's got the twitch. He's obviously physical. So
questions about Moten. I mean, I'm hoping Moten stays. Maybe I'm just wishful thinking. If he does,
are we sure that he has another year of eligibility? Because he's listed. Okay,
he's listed as a redshirt junior. I thought that's what it says on the website.
No,
did they change it?
Let me see. Hold on a second.
On the website, they got him as a redshirt junior.
If they got him a redshirt junior there, then I guess so. I mean, that'd be a nice one. I think he should come back.
Yeah, I think he should too. If he does go, I think one thing that Moten has that's going to help him is he's a good pass rusher. And it's kind of different than David Blay, where David Blay, you know what you're going to get. I think he will get drafted, but like the pass rush maybe will keep him from going higher. Whereas I think Moten was 22, but they got him as redshirting his first year.
Bagging Up says, I think Moten goes because he has family. Listen, that's the beautiful thing about NIL, man. They're getting paid good. So these decisions are a lot easier to make if you're in a spot now where you say, hey, I gotta look out for my future and I gotta look out for my family. Like they're making that money here. So
yeah, no, and a guy like that, defensive tackle, he'll be taken care of for sure if he comes back. We'll see how that one goes, but he could be one. He obviously, if he leaves, you better get drafted. You would hate to see these guys, the situation we've seen in the past where guys would leave early and then not really be in a position to succeed in the NFL. We want, if no one complains that, Vince Wilfork left early or any of these other guys that were ready to go. You hope if someone leaves, they're leaving to get drafted really day 1, day 2, I think. Leaving to go day 3 to me, especially in the NIL era, doesn't do much for me. I think that would be a mistake. But yeah, I mean, look, I think you'd be talking about 10, 11 guys picked, really, and that's without anything weird. I mean, we've seen some picks that we didn't expect. Jaden Davis being a big one. No one expected Jaden Davis to go that high. DJ Ivy, no one expected to get picked, except for
I did.
Yeah, maybe us on the show. We were the only ones talking about
John Ford. I expected that one too. I told you that was happening.
John Ford. Yeah, we talked about that one too. But I mean, again, these were surprises to others. DJ was a surprise to me. He got drafted. I thought he was going to be camp, make the team. I didn't think he was going to get drafted, but he had a great pro day, and obviously he's still on the team, so it worked out. 7th round pick. But yeah, double digits for sure. I think it's definitely in the cards. And I would say Wesley Besainth, the way he's playing, I thought he was awesome. For sure. Markel Bell, people asked about Markel, but I just don't know the eligibility with the Pavia ruling and stuff because he's technically a senior. He would have to sue, I think, to come back. So
yeah,
that's the one I don't know.
I don't think he's coming back.
Yeah, I've never heard.
The plan, like like it's one thing to say a player like wants to go after this year, but I think the plan from Miami's perspective too is like we have him for these 2 years, and he's out after this year. Not to say some things couldn't change, but
so U-Town saying, just dropping in. Have you heard any rumblings regarding recruiting after the beatdown? Love this team. Appreciate your support. Nothing crazy. I mean, they're trying to flip guys. I think they're trying to flip. To me, the biggest story with this season right now is you look at Ruben Bain and Messador, the best defensive end combination in the country, and you want to keep that going. We have guys on campus right now that can help do that. Marquise Lightfoot, Hayden Lowe, Amon the Blunt when he plays out there, Scroggins. There's a lot of guys. I'm leaving guys out. Again, appreciate you there, Big Mo, a guy. But I think you need to have a steady flow of these 5-star defensive linemen, particularly the ones that are over 240 pounds, 250 pounds, the bigger guys, whether it's a big end like a Bain or a Messador or like a big, defensive tackle. So Anthony Jones, Bryce Perry Wright, those are the names I would kind of circle as far as like, I don't know what's happening. Those are battles. Those are slugfest. But, I think we need to get a guy like that to keep this thing rolling, because that's what the big time teams do. That's what you need. And not everybody's been doing that, which is why when you watch college football on Sundays or on Saturdays, you're seeing a lot of defensive lines that don't look like they used to, at least in the Southeastern Conference. They don't look like Miami's does right now. By the way, if you want to watch all those games, Saturday, even Friday, we got that G5 matchup, Pete, with USF and North Texas. I know you'll be posted up there at Duffy's Tavern right there, now accepting credit cards. Yes, really, after all these years, hell's frozen over. You got credit cards at Duffy's Tavern. Tradition, you see the sign. Years, decades of history at Duffy's Tavern. Look at the specials, old school, and there you go. Look at there. There we are on location at Duffy's. We've been doing it. There's our guy, Jose. So that's the place to be to watch all those games on Saturday and Friday. Whoa, where Pete saw the specials and he took off to Duffy's right across the street. He's running across the street to Duffy's, or he's taking care of Honey, one or the other. We'll bring him back in when he's back. But I think he might be getting that mahi sandwich at Duffy's. So shout out to Pete. Shout out to everybody at Duffy's. There it is, Big Mo, the real Duffy's. That's right. Duffy's Tavern, not this chain that you see everywhere. That's your average place. Duffy's Tavern is the real deal. Pete, I thought you were running to get the mahi special.
I should have.
Was that a Honey situation?
Yeah, something like that.
All right, let's see.
Bell goes. What's the line next year? Seatin, Pancake, Rodriguez, McCoy, Cantwell. Not a bad guess, man. I would say, yeah, that's a pretty good guess right there.
Here, to be honest, I visualized this exact lineup. Now Seatin obviously is on a different team, so we are the tampering show because we can. We're not coaches. We're not involved. So we just kind of watch. But yeah, that is
you got Seatin at left tackle. You got Jaden Baugh at running back. You got CJ Bailey at quarterback. This offense is coming together nice, man.
I love it. Well, let's talk about the Seatin real quick because people might be watching this thing like, what are you talking about? So Jordan Seatin is the left tackle for Colorado, one of the best in the country. He's actually from Washington, D.C., went to IMG. He was one of those guys that Dion just got his claws into, man, and did a great job. I mean, shout out to Dion. I wish him all the best health. I like Dion at Colorado. I'm one of the few Canes fans that really cheers for Dion. I hope he does well. But the health stuff is bad, man. And he just did a quote this morning. It sounds like it's getting worse. So who knows if he's going to be able to stick around. And if he doesn't, now you have a guy in Jordan Seatin who's true sophomore, one of the best left tackles in the country, future NFL first-round pick probably. And he's in Colorado. He's from D.C. with IMG. He actually works out in Miami quite a bit because he's tight with Francis from IMG. So that all makes sense. Of course, we have the best offensive line coach in the country. We're probably going to win the Joe Moore this year. So put all that together, and that fit makes a lot of sense. I don't know anything about it because he's not in the portal. It's not like something that is being worked on or that could be worked on. It's just fan kind of speculation. But I mean, we fans speculated Carson Beck the day he got his surgery, and I think that would turned out right. So sometimes the pieces fit, and it makes sense to put the pieces where they got to be. So I would put I would put Jordan Seatin in that category. But of course, you want to do that, you got to join CanesConnection.com/CIS. Make sure you get that /CIS when you sign up. That really helps us out. And be part of the team, man. Any level you join is going to help. You get all the benefits, private Zoom calls with myself, which you get access to with that /CIS sign up. All kinds of perks, the hats that we always see us wearing, the sweaters, all that. CanesConnection.com/CIS. You want to get players like Jordan Seatin or the players we got already. There's only one way, and that is CanesConnection.com/CIS.
Johnny Lagoon said Seatin would be very expensive. Get what you pay for, man. And a lot of expensive players will be leaving Miami's roster this year. So got a lot of money to play with.
That's true. Just to clarify what Pete's saying before people freak out, because they're going pro. Yella's saying, why would Coop still want to go to Texas? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think their offensive line and their running game is one of the worst I've seen relative to what it should be. I mean, one thing I'm convinced about, and I said it before the season, people call me a homer when they did the PFF, and you saw Miami, you saw Florida, and you saw Notre Dame. I was like, listen, put these in a different category. Miami is way better than these guys, and I think you saw on the field, it really is there's no comparison. There's really no comparison. Miami's offensive line is on such a different level than these other offensive lines. I thought Utah was the one that you could put on the same line as Miami's, or the same level as Miami's, because they had 2 first-round tackles. They had some good interior guys. But they went against Texas Tech and got completely humiliated by Texas Tech. So I think you have to knock
Question.
down.
How do you think Miami's tackles would fare against those pass rushers at Texas Tech?
I think they'd smoke them, because first of all, I seen our guys go against we have the best defensive ends in the country. Texas Tech has got very good ones.
I think my only thing is it'd be a completely different test because their speed, because it's a different, they're speed rushers, those guys.
It is. Now that the flip of that is, we run the ball too. So we would just really hurt those guys in the running game quite a bit. But I mean, Bailey's sick, the guy they got from Stanford. So Texas Tech got David Bailey from Stanford. We did a whole video on that on Group Chat Sports. Like and subscribe. We're putting out videos here. We got to get Fink on maybe later today or tomorrow. We'll get Fink on the show to talk around this time, to talk college football. I'd like to switch to more general college football around this time. Got 1,300 plus on, almost 1,400 like and subscribe. But yeah, man, I think Bailey is a really, really talented player on the edge for Texas Tech, and he'd cause problems.
Romello Height's a veteran pass rusher at this point. He's kind of like a Messador in that sense. It's like you have so many tricks up your sleeve. You've been playing for that long at this level. How's their D tackle looking this year? Lee Hunter.
Pretty good.
They brought over from UCF. Yeah,
he's big. I see him. He wears he has a single digit number, so you always see him kind of running around. He's pretty easy to spot. Let me pull up his number. I've noticed him just running around. Yeah, number 2. His stats, pretty good. 13 tackles, half a sack. I mean, he's a 325-pound run stuffer. So they're doing their thing, man. They're doing their thing. This Joker, he says, I got the cane shades on. Tell me where. Stop me when I tell a lie. The team you're seeing right now, tell me what's different than the one thing I'll say is different than what I laid out was Lofton. Obviously, I thought Lofton would be an incredible impact player. Hasn't been that yet. But I think the reason for that is straight injuries. I think Malachi, I underrated him. Talking about him every day as our leading receiver and a superstar. I still underrated him because he's faster than I thought. So I apologize for underrating Malachi Tony. Talking about him every day. Offensive line, I don't know what you say. If there's another offensive line that you think's in the category of UM, let me know. But I haven't seen it. I mean, who? Maybe Michigan when they develop a little bit more. But I don't see anybody in the same planet as Miami's offensive line. Defensive line, Ohio State, I think, is comparable. I do, but just, Miami, Ruben Bain's just so much better than everybody that I think you have to put him kind of on his own category there, and Messador is doing so good. But Ohio State, the D-line is comparable, but I would say still Miami. Yeah, those 2 units, man. That's where the big difference is. What are you laughing about?
Comparable.
Yeah, Ohio State is comparable. They're in the category. The offensive lines, I put them in a different category because we saw Florida, Pete. I mean, that was a joke. They had the worst pass blocking game. Florida's offensive line, which was ranked ahead of Miami by some objective people without cane shades on before the season. They had the worst pass blocking game in the history of pass blocking grades ever. Like PFF had never had a score that low. And this was ranked ahead of us by the realists without the cane shades on. So that's why I have so little respect for the realists a lot of times, because a lot of times the realists are just trying too hard, particularly on our fan base. That's the one thing that bothers me. Our fan base is like, oh yeah, I'm the realist. I'm the realist, man. Mark Fletcher's dime a dozen. He doesn't cut. I get that BS from our realistic fans that just want to go against it. I'm realistic. We're the best team in the country. We got the best offensive line in the country. We got the best defensive line in the country. We got the best quarterback in the country, I would say, when you factor in all the experience. Our running game can be stopped by no one, at least on our schedule. We'll see in the playoffs if anyone can stop it. I was worried a little bit about our receiver, but we got the most dynamic freshman in the country at any position, and CJ Daniels is a stud. So, let's go. There it is. 2.8 PFF grade for Austin Barber, Slaughter, and all those other bums at the University of Florida. 2.8 PFF pass rush. Now, some of that, again, is because they were playing the best defensive line in the country, but playing time saying Ohio State would be a real bad matchup for us. I mean, Ohio State's a bad matchup for anybody because they're the other good team. So they're a tough matchup for anybody because they're good. But I don't know what in particular they do that makes them a bad matchup for us. I, in fact, think we're a bad matchup for them. And my evidence of that would be their quarterback's small and he can't move. So that's a bad matchup against the best defensive ends in the country. That's their weakness is their quarterback. He's good when it's easy, but he's not as good when it's hard. We'd go right after him. So I think we're a bad matchup for them because of the pass rush that we could bring. Obviously, Jeremiah Smith's a bad matchup for any human being alive, but we have some size that can match up with him. Guys that covered him in high school, actually. Their running game is young, not as good as it was last year. Good talent, but not there yet. Their defense is great. I mean, it's a great defense, just like ours is a great defense. It'd be a tough matchup for anybody, but they'd have to stop our run and they'd have to stop our passing game. I don't know if they could just play us they have good corners, good secondary. I don't know if they could just play us and say, hey, we don't have to worry about Malachi Tony burning us, or CJ Daniels getting open. So it would be a bad matchup for anybody because they're good. I think we're a bad matchup for anybody because we are also that good. And I think we're a particularly bad matchup for Ohio State because their quarterback is 5'11" and can't run. And that's a hard deal when you're playing against Ruben Bain and Messador. By the way, Ohio State's tackles, some of them they're not exactly. Let me pull up Ohio State's tackles right now because I saw them and I took a note. I'm like, these guys are not our guys. So let's see Ohio State's tackle depth chart.
It starts to get all right, guys. So it starts to get it gets better and better. I'm just sitting back and enjoying the show.
See, they got Philip Daniels.
Now he's going in on Ohio State.
They got Philip Daniels.
How does this happen so quickly?
No, I'm not saying. Look, Ohio State is the second best team in the country. They're great. They're the champs. You got to be the man. You got to beat the man. But you're talking about they're a bad matchup for us. Like they got something particularly bad for us. I'm trying to find out what it is. So the right tackle is Philip Daniels. Philip Daniels, who I believe isn't he like a Purdue transfer that almost got benched last year? Am I remember or Minnesota transfer that almost got benched last year? So I mean, he's got some work to do. He's not Francis Malinois. He obviously has talent. He's starting at Ohio State. Austin Searvald, I don't know as much about him. 67. I got to break down that tape, but those guys got to block Ruben Bain. That's a tough deal. So, and their quarterback, again, to me, the hardest matchup I would actually be honest. I mean, Oregon as a matchup, I think is harder. I think Ohio State's a better team based on what I've seen to this point. Oregon, I could see because Dante Moore is big. He can stand in there. He can throw. He can move a little bit. He can create a little more off script than Sane, which I think is you if you're playing Miami and our defensive ends, you want someone that can go off script. I mean, you saw that with Castellanos, whatever. Obviously, he didn't have the talent to really do too much with it, but he could, we got to him and he was able to get away. A guy like that, but a better version of that who can actually throw and is big could cause more problems. That would be like a guy to be a bad matchup for us, I think, as someone who could neutralize our defensive ends by moving. That would be something that I'd be monitoring. And then defensively, elite corners like what Notre Dame had with Leonard Moore. Those can give you problems because you can trust those guys and try to take away the run. Those would be the teams that would give us the most problems. I mean, Ohio State, again, they're the number one team ranked in the country. I would say they're a little behind us, but you could flip a coin. They're on the level. So they're a bad matchup for anybody. But I don't think they particularly match up poorly with us. If anything, I think we particularly match up with them because of our defensive end. So say I agree with D. If you watch them play against Washington was moving the ball easily against them. They didn't have the size to compete. Yeah, I mean, look, they're a good team. I mean, they're there. Like, I'm not going to talk about them like I talked about FSU and Florida. FSU and Florida, I said they didn't have good players. I went through their secondary and said how much those guys sucked when we accurately predicted Carson Beck to be the player of the game. So, Kerfuffle says you got Jamiroquai as a guest host, Virtual Insanity. I used this joke on him last time. He didn't know the reference. I think he still probably doesn't know. Has Jamiroquai done any songs on the FIFA soundtrack that you might have put them on your radar?
Talking to me?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
It's up by your head. They're in the comments. Kerfuffle. I don't know if Kerfuffle got his name from you. Johnny Lagoon says JJ and Cornell Tate are on another level. Yeah, the receivers are great there. I mean, obviously.
I think their D-line is the best in the country, but...
Yeah. All right. Pete, you're saying that because I know you want to cause controversy. Name their D-line.
I'm just saying. I don't need to
name their
D-line.
Don't pull it up.
Don't
pull it up.
I'm not pulling up anything. I'm just telling you I watch it, and they look a little bit more dominant, but that's okay.
Don't pull it up. Who's on their defensive line right now?
I don't need to tell you.
who plays for them?
It doesn't matter. I watch the games, and they look a little more dominant, D.
You watched a little more. Okay. Caden Curry. I know the names, Fence Pose. Don't tell me. I know the names. I'm asking Pete if he knows the names. He's the one that made this.
So you know the names and you still think Miami is better? You're crazy.
Boyo's saying, yes, Jamiroquai did FIFA music. So you should check him out. I mean, he's not only the origin of your hat. He's got some songs that you might like. You gotta check it out, man.
I'm confused, man. I have no idea what's going on.
So Jamiroquai, Pete, I'll help you out here. Jamiroquai. And I only know one song he did, Virtual Insanity, where he had like a moving floor and like an anti-gravity kind of video. Famous for his bucket hats, a European gentleman. Let's pull him up right here. I believe he's from England. Let's pull him up right here, our guy Jamiroquai. So people in the chat, we're comparing you to this guy right here, Jamiroquai. English, I guess it's a band. English funk and acid band. Sold 26 million albums. Wow. Didn't know they did that much work. But apparently they got songs on FIFA. So you might know some of their catalog.
Not feeling it. Don't see it. I'm not sure that's a bucket hat even.
Yeah, it's not. It's actually, now that I look at the hat, it is a little different. I got to give it to you, Pete. That hat is a little different. Oh, the cinematic recap drops. So I know people are going to be watching that once they sign off here. One analytic I want to pull up because it's relevant here. Let's see. All right, hold on. So Cam Malore has pulled up a bunch of stats. Actually, some of these stats are kind of wonky, but he had the teams that get the most pressure with only their front four. Number 1 was Miami, and number 2 was Ohio State. So those really are the teams as far as that goes. I do think we're in the right neighborhood. We're talking about the right teams. Now it's just about, here it is right here. Let's pull this up stat. Let's pull this stat up. Through week 6, pressure rate without blitzing. Miami 47, Ohio State 46, Utah 45, Missouri. This actually looks right because Missouri, they got Damon Wilson from Georgia. He's a really nasty passer. Oklahoma's got some dudes. Utah, they always play good D-line. These are pretty interesting here. Louisville and Pittsburgh. I mean, they're going against bad competition, so you got to factor this in. Miami's number 1, despite going against what I was told were 2 of the best 5 offensive lines in the country. And then FSU, which had a great offense on paper. So maybe this is even higher. This will be even higher once we play some of these ACC teams. But interesting to see Louisville and Pittsburgh there. They see Texas Tech is on there as well. So it's kind of interesting. All right, real quick. Team store. 20% off. Promo code INSIGHT20. There it is. Use the promo code INSIGHT20. Let's see the bucket hats they got here. Because they got hats. They got a hat deal. Buy one hat, get 50. We get another 50% off with the code HAT50. So Insight 20 will take care of you on anything first item, aside from NIL stuff. But hats, here's another promo code HAT50 for 50% off. I like this little 305 hat. What about how's this one, Pete? This bucket hat looking for you? Not colorful enough?
I'm not sure that's a bucket hat either, D. I'm sorry.
You think it's fake advertising here? It's a brim boonie bucket hat.
I don't know. Doesn't look. That's not a bucket hat, man. I'm sorry.
I gotta say I've never worn a bucket hat, so I'm not familiar.
You scroll up. That's a bucket hat up there.
Right here.
That's a bucket hat right there, and then there's another one above it. Those are bucket hats.
Yeah.
That one right there. That's a bucket hat.
Promo code HAT50. You get 50% off. All right, good show today. Good show. I like it, Pete. Getting spicy. Here we go. Hey, hold on, Bobby D.
I'm not getting spicy.
No, I'm not saying you're
Me?
getting, I'm saying it is getting spicy. I like it. Bobby T saying, put your fandom to the side. And appreciate your support. What % chances that we win the national championship this year? Also, does the Natty in South Florida motivate these guys? I mean, it would motivate them while they're there. I don't think it's motivating them in October. At least I hope not. They got bigger things to worry about. What's in front of them? % chance. I mean, look, this playoff sucks. I've said it a million times. It sucks. I hate it. Ohio State lost the quote-unquote biggest game of the year, which meant nothing against Oregon. And then they lost the game, that Ohio State-Michigan rivalry, which is supposed to be a great game. Meant nothing because Michigan beat them and they still made the playoffs. And then they won the championship. So the playoff has changed everything. Again, I hate it, especially now that we're good. We don't even need that to make the playoff. We could have made the playoff in the old format. We could have made the playoff back in like the 1991 format. That we'd be in the championship with the way we're playing. But that changes things. It makes it hard to predict. So, like, I don't know, man. I mean, there's so many games you got to play, injuries, the season's long. I got no clue. If you're asking me if we're one of the best teams in the country, I would say yes. If we're asking are we built to win the championship, yes. I'm not saying anything different than what national people are saying all over the country. It has nothing to do with me being a Canes fan. Veteran quarterback who's also a first-round talent. Best offensive line in the country. Dominant running games. The team have to stack the box to stop. Malachi Tony, best freshman in the country, who can go. Now we know he can take the top off. CJ Daniels, your reliable guy that can do it all. Best defensive ends in the country. We stop the run. Jaden Baugh, 40 yards. Jeremiah Love, 40 yards. We can stop the run up the middle with our tackles and running game. And then our secondary is excellent. And our kicker, it sounds a wee bit different coming off his boot. So add all that up. You got a championship team. That does not mean that you have a championship. A lot has to happen. Got to stay healthy. Got to keep improving. But do we have what it takes to win the championship? For the first time in forever, I can say unequivocally yes, and I think everybody around the country agrees. Pete, would you agree with that?
Yeah.
We have enough to win the championship.
No, I think we win it.
Let's go. Let's go, Pete. You're zagging when they think you're going to zig. I love it. And I think we're going to win it too.
Listen, I had it at 11-1, and I think we go undefeated now. So I was wrong about. I believe I'll already be wrong about one thing there.
It's funny. Like I want to bring this up. So Temmie saying, I'm not liking the energy and body.
Hold on. Let's talk about Temmie. Temmie, you're in the live instant reaction, calling me fake as a $3 bill, this and that. You tell me about my energy, buddy. And then you're on here like everything's all right, man. Talk to me, man. What's your problem, my friend Temmie?
You know what, Pete, though, I have to say, when I first saw you, I was like, I made mental note. I'm like, I'm not loving the body language today. But then I realized, I think it's the hat. The hat just gives an attitude of European indifference. You're just like, hey, if we win, we win. If we lose, we lose. I'm gonna smoke a cigarette. I'm gonna play some soccer later on. I'm gonna have a baguette and I'm chilling. So it wasn't your body language. It was just the swag portrayed by the hat. I think is what did it.
Listen, I want to know what Temmie's got going on, man. Big dog, what you got going on, Temmie?
Temmie, man. Temmie's let me see, Temmie, but I appreciate all your support. Temmie's he's got the Bavarian
he supports
AI
you.
Elmo. Temmie's my guy.
Your guy. Apparently not mine. Coming at me on the live show. Instant reaction.
Post game Pete, baby. We gotta do post game. So no post game Pete this Saturday. We should just post game like after Flanagan's. Just like post Flanagan's Pete. And we'll just do a show. We'll just get home and do a show. Let's go. So anyways, Scuba Seeds, don't worry about the haters. Johnny Lagoon's trying to meet people at Whip and Dip. It's getting spicy in the chat right now. It's getting hot. So we'll let you guys go. Again, like and subscribe to the show. Got over 1,400 on. Appreciate everybody joining us. Go Canes.
Go Canes.